For Michael Carrick, will Manchester United fans be falling head over heel, or will they be missing Ole at the wheel? Let's dive straight into that, as today's video is my Premier League Match Week 13 predictions, where of course we'll be discussing, analysing and predicting every game coming your way for this Premier League match weekend. Okay, now that I got that intro out of the way, I can kind of get rid of my narration voice and I can kind of just chill a tiny bit. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Premier League Match Week 13 predictions, where obviously Premier League Match Week 12, as I said, was insane in terms of there being 3 brand new managers, in terms of the kinds of games and fixtures we had lined up. Now, although Premier League Match Week 13 might not be as crazy, there are still some insane games to talk about. Obviously, the likes of Michael Carrick, Manchester United legend, will be taking charge of Manchester United versus a very informed Chelsea. How will they do? I guess we'll kind of have to see. I think it could be a very interesting mashup to watch, I guess. Manchester United, please just don't get thrashed, I'm begging you. Obviously, we've got the likes of Arsenal versus Newcastle, Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. And Aston Villa, the team to watch at the moment, after good old Stevie G picked up his first win in his first game in charge of the Villains. And obviously, could he continue that form? Once again, interesting to see. Liverpool versus Southampton, Norwich versus Wolves, Brighton versus Leeds, Brentford versus Everton. Neither of these two teams in form at the moment. So who'll be picking up the result in a fixture like this? We've got Burnley versus Tottenham Hotspurs, we've got Leicester City versus Watford, we've got Man City versus West Ham United, and those are the 10 fixtures we have to look out for Premier League Match Week 13. As I said, maybe not as chaotic as last match week, but definitely some games to look out for, and it could potentially be very exciting. But without wasting any more of your time, let's jump straight into the predictions. Now, game number 1 we're going to be talking about, obviously, is going to be Arsenal versus Newcastle United. Now, obviously, I mean Arsenal, you were handed a beating, I repeat, a beating versus Liverpool. 4-0, obviously not very promising, but looking at Arsenal's season as a whole, they haven't been too bad. I mean, they've only lost 4 games so far this season. They've definitely picked themselves up. I would say maybe the only loss they'll be heavily disappointed in was Brentford in the opening game of the Premier League season. But other than that, I mean, they've lost to Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, but they've gained points from all their other games, which has proven maybe Arsenal have turned things around. Maybe they did need to trust the process. Maybe they are still going places, but they just can't fight with the big dogs quite yet. So you know what, I've still got a lot of faith in Arsenal. So you know what, because of that, my prediction for this game is going to be a 2-0 win in Arsenal's favour. I do believe Arsenal could have it in the bag. I do feel like they've got the ability. As I said, they've lost to the big dogs, but other than that, they've actually looked reasonably good this season. Defensively, not too bad. On other games, look, obviously the Liverpool game isn't a good example, but other than that, I mean, Ramsdale's been a solid goalkeeper. I think Ben White has been slightly underrated. Obviously, that Japanese defender that they've got, sorry, I forgot his name. I think he's been brilliant. I think Arsenal as a whole has definitely picked up a level. Looking at Newcastle United, I would like to give them a chance, but at the end of the day, 0 wins in 12 Premier League games. I mean, look, I was never that good at math, but something tells me that's not very good. Newcastle United, you need to change things around, but I just don't see it happening versus Arsenal. Defensively, you haven't been good. Attacking-wise, not quite there. So, as I said, I'm going to give Arsenal a 2-0 win, and my player to watch has to be, as they call, the future of Arsenal, Emile Smith-Rowe. I mean, that kid has just been brilliant this season. You can tell he's going to be a future star. 4 goals and 2 assists so far this season. As I said, not looking bad at the moment. Now, yes, as I said, Newcastle United haven't picked up a win. Do feel like they were slightly unlucky versus Brentford. It was a 3-3 draw, although there were 2 deflections for 2 of the Brentford goals. So I do feel like Newcastle United was slightly unlucky in that regard. But as I said, just from what I've seen from Arsenal so far this season, they should be the clear favourites in a game like this. Moving on to game number 2, we've got Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. Now, this is a very tricky game to predict because Crystal Palace haven't been bad this season. They've gotten a lot of draws, where if you look at Aston Villa, yes, they lost 5 games in a row and they've only just won a game after that very bad spell. But Steven Gerrard looks to be the manager who maybe could turn things around for Aston Villa, maybe get the best out of the players. I don't know. That's just my thinking on it. And because of that, my prediction for this game is going to be a 2-1 in Aston Villa's Villa's favour. I mean, just looking at Steven Gerrard, the way he managed that Aston Villa team, I mean, there was not one player who I didn't think was brilliant on the day. I thought Martinez, I mean, once again, we know his ability for this Aston Villa team. He showed that he probably is in the top 5 best goalkeepers in the league in the moment. I mean, he's probably in the top 10 best in the world at the moment. Heavily underrated. Mings had an absolutely brilliant game. We had the likes of Target, once again brilliant. That's why he was Villa's player of the season last season. Ashley Young even chipped in. Obviously the likes of Watkins, McGinn. This Aston Villa team has so much potential, and I think Steven Gerrard is the man to bring the potential out of this club, and I think he'll do so versus Crystal Palace. As I said, Crystal Palace hasn't been bad this season. They've gotten a lot of valuable points, only 2 losses this season, but a lot of draws, and until they start converting those draws into wins and proving to me that they can win games, I am going to give this result to Aston Villa, and my player to watch is going to be the likes of Tyrone Mings. I know, not an attacking player, it's very rare that I don't go for an attacking player, but what I've seen from Crystal Palace, especially versus Burnley, is the fact that they kind of struggle with aerial balls. When it comes to aerial balls in defense or attack, they do seem to struggle, and Aston Villa look very good with that at the moment. That's why Tyrone Mings is my player to watch, whether it be from a defensive point of view and attacking point of view. Obviously he was the man of the match in the previous game for Aston Villa. I think you could do a similar kind of situation in a game like this. I mean, so far this season he's won 34 aerial battles and obviously 400 passes completed for Aston Villa, the most passes completed out of any of the other players this season. Tyrone Mings just seems to be the player to watch. He just seems so in form at the moment. He's been very impressive, and I hope he keeps it up in a game like this. Next up, we've got Liverpool versus Southampton. Now, although I'd like to go in depth about, maybe Southampton's got a chance because they've won so many valuable points this season, Liverpool is Liverpool. You just can't shine away from Liverpool. I'm going to have to give Liverpool a win. I'm going to put forward a 3-0 win. I mean, Liverpool have just beaten Arsenal 4-0, a very informed team at the moment, where Southampton have just lost 2-1 to Norwich, probably the worst team in the Premier League. So to me, I mean, I'd like to say the seesaw is somewhat balanced, but it's not. Liverpool look to be the clear favourites in a game like this, and in terms of a player to watch, once again, I would like to be different. I would like to be that different kid, although I probably was called that quite a bit in school. I would like to say someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold or Mane, but it just, once again, has to be the Egyptian king. Mo Salah this season has been deadly. 11 goals and 7 assists. I mean, we could see Mo Salah in the season as the top goal scorer and assist maker in the Premier League as a whole, doing a Harry Kane from last season. I just think Mo Salah is so heavily underrated, and I think he is a real shot at the Ballon d'Or this year. Whether you think so or not, I want you guys to put down in the comment section down below, who do you think will win the Ballon d'Or this year? Do you think it'll be someone like Benzema? Do you think it'll be Lewandowski, Messi, Mo Salah? Who do you think will win the Ballon d'Or? Let me know in the comment section down below. But as I said, Liverpool should be clear favourites over Southampton. Southampton have had a few promising games this season, but at the end of the day, it's Liverpool. You just can't shine away from them. Now, next up, we've got Norwich versus Wolves. Now, of course, Norwich did pick up a win in their previous game. Obviously, I'm very happy because I'm a huge fan of Dean Smith, and obviously I think it really helps that a lot of their best players were back from injury, whether it be the likes of Hanley, whether it be the likes of Gilmore, all of those kinds of players. That could be a huge turning point for Norwich, especially because they've won 2 games in a row now. Maybe they could carry on that momentum. But do I think they'll do it versus the likes of Wolves? Unfortunately, I don't think so. Wolves have been so heavily underrated at the moment. I don't think people realize how good Wolves have been at the moment. They've only lost 1 game in their last 7 games. That is so impressive. And they just beat West Ham United 1-0. I've said this on multiple occasions. I think West Ham United at the moment could be one of the most hardest or trickiest to beat in the league. Obviously, you've got your Chelseas, Liverpools, Man Cities, but I definitely think West Ham United are up there. So for Wolves to do it, and in a very convincing fashion, I think they are very impressive. I have to give Wolves a 2-0 win. That is going to be my prediction. As I said, Wolves absolutely dominated West Ham United. I thought they were so impressive. They definitely took their chances, and I think they'll do so versus the likes of Norwich. And my player to watch, it has to be the likes of good old Ruben Neves, the man who looks about 32 years old. I mean, he looks like he could be Diego Costa's age, and he's only about in his mid-20s. I think Neves looks like a very good player at the moment. Statistically, looking at him versus Newcastle United, an 88% pass success rate and obviously 3 tackles when it came to the attacking and defensive front, he was second to none, and I think he'll probably do a similar situation in a game like this. I remember a year or two ago when he was linked to Manchester United, I thought, we've got such a brilliant midfield, there's no way he would start for the club. Wolverhampton Wanderers, I beg you, please take the likes of Fred, Matic, all of those players, please take them and just give us Neves. I mean, I know it's not very realistic, but yeah, I totally regret thinking that, having that opinion so long ago that he wouldn't get into the squad. He would 100% get into the Manchester United squad. That is why he'll be my player to watch in a game like this. Next up, we've got Brighton versus Leeds. Now, Brighton, once again, brilliant teams. In terms of the results they've gotten, as of late, they've gotten a lot of draws, a lot of valuable points here and there, especially versus teams like Liverpool. But once again, I'm slightly unconvinced because it's been a while since they picked up a win. But if you look at their opponent, the likes of Leeds, once again, Leeds also hasn't been that impressive. Obviously, the likes of good old Dan James, former Manchester United winger, scored his first goal for the club versus Tottenham Hotspurs, but Leeds unfortunately crumbled a tiny bit in defense as Spurs came with shot after shot after shot, and they ended up losing 2-1. Once again, Leeds haven't quite been there on the defensive front this season. I thought versus Spurs, to an extent, they held them quite well. Obviously, they stopped quite a few Harry Kane attacking opportunities. I think Meslier is a brilliant goalkeeper in terms of attack. I mean, Leeds weren't shy in terms of attacking chances. But at the end of the day, I think these two teams, it is going to be such a tight battle that I'm actually going to put forward a 1-1 draw. And in terms of a player to watch, I think it might catch a lot of people off because I've put the likes of Shane Duffy. Yes, once again, a centre-back option, just like Tyrone Mings for Aston Villa. But I think people are kind of underestimating how value Shane Duffy has been to this Brighton team since returning from loan last season. I mean, he's got 16 shots. For a centre-back, the second most shots at the club. That is very impressive. He's won 44 aerial battles, 54 clearances. In terms of most statistics for the club, he has been, once again, second to none. He has been a brilliant option. And him having that partnership with the likes of Lewis Dunk, I don't think Brighton could be any happier. As I've said on multiple occasions, them losing Ben White, I don't feel like it's a huge loss for the club. As I said, I feel like it's going to be such a tight contest. Shane Duffy, my player to watch, and I do predict that it will be a draw. Moving on, we've got the likes of Brentford versus Everton. Now, once again, Brentford kind of being everyone's favourite child. Yes, they ended up getting a 3-3 draw versus Newcastle United, which to the naked eye might seem like a very good attacking display, but unfortunately, in my opinion, as I said, two deflected goals. I do feel like they were somewhat lucky, and without their main goalkeeper, without Raya, they have been struggling heavily, and until they get him back, until they get a lot of their injured players back, I just struggle to see Brentford getting the results. I mean, yes, I really do like this Brentford team. In fact, I did a whole video talking about how much I like Brentford and 5 facts that maybe you didn't know about it. Maybe I'll link it up in the I thingy up above if you want to know a tiny bit more about Brentford. But versus Everton, do I think they'll get a result? Weirdly enough, I think Everton might get a win. I'm going to put forward a 1-0 win, and the reason I say weirdly enough is because Everton haven't been great as of late. They've just lost 3-0 to Manchester City, and their last league win was on the 25th of September versus Norwich. Everton haven't been good, and I think it's just a ticking time bomb until the likes of Rafa Benitez is sacked. I mean, he has not done a great job, hasn't been getting results. I still think Duncan Ferguson is the man to manage the club, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. As I said, Everton have just been awful ways, but I can't blame them. They've had a lot of valuable players injured. I would say their most valuable players, the likes of Gray is now injured, Calvert-Lewin, Decore. I mean, they really are going through a tricky time. But yeah, as I said, just a part of me thinks that they will end up getting a result. And in terms of my player to watch, I'm going to go for the likes of Anthony Gordon. Now, I'm not putting him forward because of his statistics. Looking at his numbers, he's not the best in every single stat. But that young player, whether he plays in the winger position, almost kind of centrally as an attacking midfielder, he's been playing a lot in the winger position so far this season. He has been brilliant, in my opinion. There's just something magical about him. I think he is going to grow up to be a fantastic player. As I said, there's just this exciting flair, this exciting spark about this youngster that I believe could make a difference in a game like this. And that's why I've kind of gambled a bit and said that maybe he'll be the player to watch and help Everton win a game like this. Burnley versus Tottenham Hotspurs next. Now, looking at these two teams, obviously Burnley only 1 win so far this season. Tottenham Hotspurs hasn't had the absolute dream season that they would be hoping for. But obviously, I think Tottenham Hotspurs, we've seen a lot more from them so far this season. And this is actually always kind of an interesting contest between Tottenham Hotspurs and Burnley. I think Tottenham Hotspurs will get a 1-0 win. As I said, Antonio Conte finally picked up his first Premier League win With Spurs, I think that could be obviously a huge confidence boost. I think he's kind of settling into the team more and more. As I said, versus Leeds, not the most promising display, but Spurs definitely had their moment from time to time. Obviously, Hugo Lloris showed that he is still a top goalkeeper on the attacking front. Yes, although Harry Kane didn't end up scoring a goal, he had so many opportunities, and I thought to an extent he was unlucky not to score. Whether it was saved by the goalkeeper or he hit the post, Harry Kane actually had a very good game. And let's not forget, 2-3 weeks ago, he scored 7 goals over 2 international games. I still think Harry Kane has got it in him to be a world-class striker, and although he's only scored 1 Premier League goal in 11 Premier League games so far, he is going to be my player to watch. As I said, I can just see that hunger in him, that fire to score a Premier League goal, and I think it's just bound to happen sometime soon, and I think this is probably going to be the game in which that happens. Leicester City versus Watford is next, ladies and gentlemen, and this could be a very exciting game to watch, and I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of trouble predicting this one. Obviously, the likes of good old Claudio Ranieri, diddly ding, diddly dong, the
Dilly din, dilly don.
the Watford manager, obviously the manager to win the Premier League with Leicester City, but I feel like this could be a very tight contest, and I genuinely think this could go either way. Leicester City, a team that season after season has been competing for the Champions League, for a Champions League spot, has only won 4 games after their 12 Premier League games this season. It's not looking promising from them. They have definitely stepped down a level from where they have been over the last few years, although funnily enough they've picked up a trophy here and there over the last year or two, but as I said, performance-wise they have not been there. Well, if you look at Watford, I feel like they either win games or they lose games. It's very rare that they end up getting a draw, but Watford have been very impressive this season. They've picked up some big results. Obviously that 4-1 win versus Manchester United springs to mind, which I'm not going to talk about that too much. I've just come out of a therapy session and I don't need more, because let's be honest, as a Manchester United fan, I am heavily disappointed with that performance. But you know what? Credit goes to the likes of Watford. I think in terms of their pressing, in terms of their attacking, in terms of fighting for the full 90 minutes, and in fact even beyond the 90 minutes, Watford were beyond impressive. And as I've said on multiple occasions, Ben Foster, although 38 years old, I mean, he is definitely worthy of being a Premier League goalkeeper. Absolutely fantastic team. I think Watford have got it in their ability to kind of steal points from struggling teams. Leicester City, definitely a struggling team at the moment, and that is why I'm going to put forward a 1-1 draw. I feel like it will be equal. As I said, I find it very hard to split these two teams at the moment. I feel like it will be a draw, and in terms of my player to watch, I've got to go for another former Manchester United player in the likes of Joshua King. I mean, once again, just another player who's been on form so far this season. 4 goals, 2 assists for Watford in the Premier League. I, once again, could be a player to make a difference, to be an impact versus a team like Leicester City. Obviously, Leicester City wouldn't want that. They would like to strive for more, but once again, I'm just struggling to see that at the moment. They have to step up. Next up, we've got the likes of Manchester City versus West Ham United, before jumping into our final game being Chelsea versus Manchester United. But Man City versus West Ham, I think this could be an extremely tight contest. As we know, West Ham United have been on fire this season. They recently beat the likes of Liverpool, but they lost to Wolves, so it's kind of a tricky display there in terms of their form, but they are a fantastic team overall. Where if you look at Manchester City, they've only lost 2 games so far this season, and as we know, you don't really have to justify why West Ham or why Manchester City are such a brilliant team. They've just beaten PSG in the Champions League. At the end of the day, they just end up picking so many wins. They've obviously got brilliant depth throughout their squad. I don't know, I feel like this could be such a tight contest, but for some reason my heart is kind of leaning towards Manchester City. I feel like Manchester City are going to win 1-0. As I said, I think it's just the caliber of play, even without a striker, as I've said in many prediction videos. They've just got goal scorers absolutely everywhere over the pitch, and I especially know that because while trying to predict who my player to watch in a game like this, obviously I was thinking of a Manchester City player, and there were just so many names to run through, which just proves how world-class Manchester City is at the moment. As I said, absolutely taking nothing away from West Ham United. They are a brilliant team, but I do feel like Man City will win 1-0. And in terms of my player to watch, it is going to be a Manchester City player in the likes of Bernardo Silva. Once again, was quiet over the last 2-3 seasons, but in his last 5 games has had 4 goal contributions, being 3 goals and 1 assist. He is just a man on form at the moment. He has really picked up his career. He's looking brilliant once more, and as I said, I feel like he will be the difference maker, whether it be a goal or an assist versus West Ham United. I don't know, could be a very tight contest. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us to our final game of Premier League match week 13. Now, as we know, 13 is known to be the unlucky number. Now, between Chelsea and Manchester United, which team is going to be unlucky? which team is not going to be picking up a result. Now, obviously, I feel like as football fans, when it comes to predictions, in terms of predicting who's going to win games, I feel like lots of football fans have that biasness in them. I've definitely been a culprit of that from time to time, kind of thinking, well, although this is a top team that is so much better than us, I do feel like we could maybe scrape results and end up getting a draw. But you know what, in a situation like this, just looking at Chelsea, how good they are at the moment, it breaks my heart as a Red Devil fan to say so, but I just can't see United getting a point from this. I'm going to put forward a Chelsea 3-1 win. I can just see it being a game that hurts us. I mean, to other Manchester United fans out there, don't be angry that I've said this. We lost 5-0 to Liverpool. We lost, 2-0 to Manchester City. It definitely could have been more. And we've just lost 4-1 to Watford. I mean, I'm just not having a very good time as a United fan. Yes, obviously the likes of Jadon Sancho and Manchester United finally looking really, really good in the Champions League. That is a huge bonus. Maybe Michael Carrick could change things around for Manchester United. But to do it straight away versus a big opponent like Chelsea, I just don't see it at the moment. Once again, Manchester United, I do trust the process. I do believe one day we could be great once again, but to do it in immediate effect, I just don't see it coming. And I do want to say as a Manchester United fan that I hope wherever Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ends up going, that I do wish him the best of luck. Yes, fans for years and years and years now have been chanting Ole out. I hope he ends up leaving the club. Yes, he has finally done that, but I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done a brilliant job to get us to this point. If you think of the transfers and players that he's gotten into the club, in terms of the positions he's gotten us to, I mean, to get us second in the Premier League last season with the kind of competition that there is in the Premier League, once again, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did a brilliant job to get Manchester United to this point, but I think he's really set this team up really, really well for whatever manager takes over and could probably win us trophies one day. But as I said, versus Chelsea, I just don't see it happening. And in terms of my player to watch, I am going to put forward the man himself, N'Golo Kante. Once again, not another man who needs to be necessarily backed by stats. We all know how absolutely brilliant he is, and I've kind of put him there for his midfield dominance. As we've seen on multiple occasions, he is the best holding midfielder in the world in terms of winning back possession, in terms of keeping onto the ball. He is second to none, and once again, who doesn't like a good old cheeky N'Golo Kante smile? And as I said, that midfield dominance versus a midfield that's got Fred, McTominay, Matic, all of those midfielders, I think Manchester United could be handed a royal spanking. But you know what? We'll see if I get proven wrong or not. But that, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude my Premier League Match Week 13 predictions. I hope you have ended up enjoying this video. Once again, if you have enjoyed this video, please do subscribe down below if you're not subscribed. I would love to hit 1,750 subscribers before the end of the year. Could we please make that happen? Along with hitting that like button down below, can we please get this video to 20 likes? 1 like for every Premier League club. But as I said, Premier League Match Week 13, maybe not as good looking, as sexy as Premier League Match Week 12, but definitely some really good contests as well. And yeah, could definitely be an entertaining one to watch. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been your boy, Finn, FYNN. Until next time, cheers.